Adam and Steve, if you
What's up,
could
man?
change the outcome of Game 7, 2013 against Boston, or Game 5, 2020 against Columbus, which do you choose?
20 Boston. Boston. I think that did psychological damage. I think Columbus felt inevitable. Boston was like, that was a damaging blow.
Boston.
Yeah.
Boston, because that loss, I don't think changed Leafs management's mind, really.
When it maybe should have.
Yeah, they were going to try to get Clarkson anyway. They were probably going to try to get Bolin anyway. They were going to try to upgrade on Reimer anyway. Whereas I think Kyle Dubas made his mind up about this team in February.
Yep, I agree.
When he didn't do anything at the trade deadline, and that was obvious with Nick Robertson randomly, just here you go. You're on the third line now. And Kasperi Kapanen getting traded. Like, it's Kyle Dubas, I think, is more along the wavelength that we were, where this team is not good enough because of these 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
They're not good enough because of the 70 that preceded them.
Exactly. I think he also said in his press conference, they said, you've drawn a lot of criticism in a post, because we were hard on the year-end press conference. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But he's had a press conference with the Kasperi Kapanen trade, and somebody asked him about the criticism that he's taken, and to his credit, he said it's been warranted. Like, and it has. He knows. He's not stupid.
I think they made their decision after the David Ayres game. They're like, we're not good enough.
Yeah.
That's why they went out and what was their big move? They got the ghost of Robin Lehner for like a draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
And they
should have never let him go.
They traded noted Stanley Cup playoff winning goaltender Michael Hutchison for Calle Rosen. That dude won a playoff game.
Michael Hutchinson.
And it was such a Hutch game.
Yeah, he played. He didn't play.
He was awful.
But he wasn't great, and they just outscored the other team.
Yeah, no, they outscored the other team's shots. That's how you win.
You know what that game reminded me of is, with Freddie, the criticism has often been, there were some games where, or no, it wasn't Freddie, it was Garrett Sparks. They never gave him goal support. And with Hutch, I was like, Jesus, they gave him like 4 goals every game.
Yeah.
Lost every game like 6-4.
Jesse, we got time for one more.
We do?
One more question.
This one comes from Mitchell Bader. What team do you find the most boring to watch or even follow? Whether it's the way they play or the moves of the GM or the fans. Which team
If you don't say the Minnesota Wild, I'm going to be mad.
Which team is the most boring?
Although that's changed. Chuck Fletcher's not there.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? That's the thing with them. Let me look real quick.
Adam, you got an answer?
You know what? It comes down to, I think, sometimes that's a very personal one because, and I don't mean to make this too deep, but sometimes the stories are very interesting, but you're just so burnt out on the team that you are like, okay, like what else is the problem now? One of the teams that I would just genuinely like to talk about more positively and have tried and done everything I possibly can is the Coyotes. And since the start of this show, like one of the first questions, Jesse, that I prepped to ask Steve is, how are the Coyotes still a franchise? And that was in 2013.
Right.
Because at that point they were owned by the NHL, right? And they had gone to the third round, I think the year previous, but it was like, it's still like, what are we holding on to this for? And it's not because I think that they shouldn't have a team or they shouldn't be a team or their fans don't deserve it. They deserve all of it. But even when the things for the Coyotes seem to go well, they go bad. There's just nothing about this. Like, they finally seem to they got a couple good goalies, Ranta and Kemper, and they've got Oliver Ekman-Larsson, who I guess the ghost of what he used to be, and, some good players up front, and Chalmerson and Stepan, and like all these guys. And then there's some bad contracts, and the general manager leaves after, allowing them to train or test players before the draft.
See, that's
at least interesting. Stupid. You know what I mean? Like,
that's at least interesting.
It's interesting, but it's always like, I guess maybe it's just depressing. Like I feel horrible for Coyotes fans, right?
Where does Buffalo fall in there?
Oh, So sick of the Buffalo shit too.
Yeah.
What about where do the Devils fall in there?
The
I
Sens.
don't mind the Devils as much.
The Sens, no, they're whack.
The Sens to me are a big juicy burger. I love them.
I'm going to throw a name in there. They are rarely ever bad enough to be talked about in the lottery conversation. They're rarely ever good enough to be talked about in any good conversation. There's constant tumult, but it's always whispered about behind the scenes, and it's just cloak and dagger front office stuff, and they never really do anything. I'm talking about the Florida Panthers.
Yeah.
Boo.
Yeah.
Boo. Like, boo. What are you? Boo. Bill Zito is their GM.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
By the way.
That happened today.
But that is cool. By the way, long time. He's got an interesting story. Long time Columbus assistant GM. He's been there since 2013.
He might be great.
Might be great.
But it's the most interesting thing to happen to them in a while. Like Bill Zito needs to get me jacked up about the Florida Panthers. And I already said, new GM, some good players, decent little contract situation. Make them good. Make them interesting. Make them
curious.
A contender.
Jarmo Kekalainen is one of the ballsiest general managers in this league. That man has a steel stomach. I wonder if Bill Zito's picked up some of that. And I wonder how many, because you got to think, they got to shed salary this year. We know that. They're not going to be a cap team. They have to be competitive. They've got Bobrovsky's deal. They're going to make some moves.
How much of that was Jarmo, and how much of that was, maybe some guidance from Bill Zito? Can we throw the Kings in there?
Well, that's a lot of teams.
It is a lot of teams.
I think Florida's a good one. I think Arizona's a good one. I think Buffalo's a good one. Buffalo's for sure a good one. Jesse, what is it for you?
The most boring NHL team? I think you guys nailed it with the ones that are just consistently terrible and not fun. Sabres and Coyotes.
See, I think at least LA's fun because they're bad right now because they're rebuilding. Mm-hmm. That's fun to me. The Kings were good, now they're not, and then they'll be good again eventually. You think. But like it's these teams that are constantly stuck in a flux of like ugh.
Yeah. The Panthers finished this season 15th. Which is just the most Panthers thing ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think of 15th. I think of the Florida Panthers. You're lucky to be 15th. This is a good season for them.
Can I shout out one person before we go?
Sure.
The Leafs hired Sam Kim as the club's video and coaching coordinator. Sam Kim was once the mascot for the New York Islanders.
Love that story.
Everybody out there, believe in your fucking dreams. Follow it to the T and just go after it. That's the craziest journey I've heard in a long time.
Yo, that's sick.
Mascot to video coordinator.
And congrats to Sam. And that ain't the end. That's just the beginning. So Congratulations, Sam.
And if you want a little bit more information, there's a staff page for him on eliteprospects.com. I didn't know that was a thing. He has previously been a head coach at Columbia University, a skating coach, a video coach, a director of hockey operations in the NCAA, an assistant coach, a video coach in the AHL. And it looks like he was a video coach for as far as I can tell, the South Korean hockey team.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Came back over with the Bakersfield Condors. So
those are great. That's a great story.
Sam Kim has had some jobs, man.
Shout out Sam Kim.
He's only 35. That's a crazy resume for a guy who's only 35.